Wow, it's great to see so many of you here this morning. Is there any doubt which state has the strongest, most progressive group of credit unions? We have an incredible crowd here and a great program this morning to kick off our annual convention and exposition here in beautiful Grand Rapids. It's my honor to give a few welcome remarks before I get to introduce our distinguished Governor Rick Snyder, special guest Desmond Howard, and continue with the program. But I want to welcome you, and first off, I want to ask, how many of you are here at an annual convention of MCO for the first time? Raise your hands. Look at that, a lot of newcomers, and I'm sure that many of you have been coming for many, many years, and we hope that you'll make all of our newcomers, our first-timers, comfortable. This is about celebrating the credit union difference, networking, learning, and being a part of this wonderful credit union movement that we all have various responsibilities for. Let me share a little bit of information about this year. This year we have 654 registered attendees, up from 560 3 years ago when we were here in Grand Rapids. This is a venue that tends to draw the largest crowds, but we're up that much. We have the highest number of total attendees that we've had in 8 years, since 2006. Over 1,100 attendees total. We have 153 credit unions, up from 123 last year participating, 188 guests, up from 128 last year, 130 booths in our exhibit hall. Our exhibitors, our sponsors are such a big part of our success. They help us make this affordable for all of you. And the exhibit hall was completely sold out, up from 112 sponsors last year to a total of 130 this year. A little bit about our audience. 44% of our audience is volunteers and about 18% CEOs. The rest of you are staff. So we have a diverse audience. And I want to start by, again, thanking you for being here, but I really want to congratulate the excellent staff of the Michigan Credit Union League and affiliates. I have a great team working with me, and they do a terrific job with all the details that go into a great convention like this today. So, in my brief comments here this morning, I have a couple of themes. I want to talk about the fact that this convention, there are three themes. I want to talk about the fact that this convention is about celebrating the credit union difference. This is an opportunity for us to come together and take pride in what you're doing individually, what you're doing at the chapter level, what you're doing in your CUSOs, what you're doing with cooperative advertising and political advocacy. We're making a difference in advancing the credit union idea and helping to move Michigan forward and helping to move our nation forward because of what we're doing, whether we're volunteers or executives or staff. We're making a difference. I also want to talk about the fact that cooperation is alive and well. We need to remember that. No credit union is an island. And there are many ways for us to cooperate, and that's a theme that I want to reinforce again in my brief comments. I finally want to talk about the fact that the challenges ahead, and they are many, as well as opportunities, they require individual and cooperative leadership. Now that may seem obvious, but we're here in various capacities because we care about something really important, the credit union idea. And we're leaders. We're individual leaders, and we're leaders of teams, and we're leaders of credit unions. And the opportunities and challenges ahead require that we continue to step up and lead this great credit union movement. So, let me share a little bit about the celebration side of this to begin with. So, Michigan leads the nation in grassroots lobbying, our cooperative advertising campaign, our commitment to financial education, and the way that we, most importantly, the way that we help people with their financial affairs. If they're facing foreclosure, we help them avoid foreclosure, we help them refinance their debt or package their debt and save for the future and avoid difficult financial circumstances. We were the compassionate ones throughout the financial crisis. We're helping our members get access to credit when they need that new car or truck, or when they need a loan for a college education. We're the ones that are leading in all those categories. Let me share some statistics that bear that out. Our $46 billion in assets and 4.6 million members ranks Michigan number 6 in the nation, behind California, Texas, New York, Virginia, and Florida. But our branches, with 1,047 branches, Michigan is only behind California and Texas. So we rank third in the way that we provide convenient facilities and ATM, surcharge-free ATM networks. Our 46% penetration rate in the population is the highest among all of the most populous states, right here in Michigan. You guys are making that happen. And 19%, note this, market share of household deposits, 19% is what credit unions hold. Now that may or not mean a lot to you, but that's up from 15% just 8 years ago, up from 15 to 19. And do you know that smaller banks, those banks that are not among the top 25 banks in the nation, they have 10% market share of household deposits in Michigan. We have 19. The other 70% goes to the top 25 banks. You know who they are: PNC, Comerica, Citi, Bank of America. But that wasn't always the case. 20 years ago, those big out-of-state banks only held about 10% market share. Now, the top 25 banks hold 60%, 60 of the 70 that is held by large banks. And we're growing from 15 to 19. And with those household deposits, we have increased market share of auto loans, small business loans, and other financial products. Now consider how that 19% contrasts with these other large states. In California, credit unions have a 10% market share of household deposits. Texas, 10%. Florida, 9%. New York, 5%. So I believe that Michigan credit unions also have the highest market share of household deposits of any of the largest states in the country. So my hat is off to you. What that really, it's not about numbers, it's not about market share. What it's about is getting the credit union idea out to more people so they can benefit from what we have to offer. Now, continuing on, our loan rates and saving rates are better than our competitors. On auto loans, we average 1% lower than bank auto loan rates. On credit card loans, we average 4% lower. And we're higher on our savings accounts and checking accounts, and we're lower on our loan rates. And you know that for consumers, those 4.6 million members, they realize a benefit of over $230 million of savings just in the rate differential alone. $230 million of savings. There's a reason to have a tax-exempt credit union charter because we're serving the consumers who need affordable financial services better than anyone else. Our membership is surging, up 20,000 net new members in the first quarter of this year, continuing the pace of 1.8% growth. We grew our membership by 80,000 last year. And to put that in perspective, our membership has grown by 157,000 members here in Michigan in the past 2 years. That's more than the entire 11 years prior. 157,000 people are discovering credit unions. And one last one. Indirect auto loan share is up from 12% 2 years ago to 19%. You've added $200 million of new vehicle loans to your books during the past 24 months. $200 million. So, small business loans, trending double-digit growth in small business loans through the severe economic recession. While banks were having to pull back because they couldn't make those loans, you were growing your small business loans by double digits every year. And that continued last year with 26% growth in small business loans. That's the highest level of growth in small business loans, again, in the past 8 years, since 2006. And it continued on in the first quarter of this year. Your earnings are strong, your capital's strong, you have money to lend. We have $15 billion of available liquidity to lend right now. So NCUA, we don't need a risk-based capital regulation that puts more clamps on us and limits our ability to move the economy forward. We need regulatory relief. We need a risk-based capital regulation that helps credit unions that have strong balance sheets take more risk, get that money out, helping our members. We need less regulation, and we need more support from our lawmakers to keep our tax exemption and to help us do what we want to do. And one last thing that I'll say is that our research shows that credit union members are twice as likely to recommend a credit union to a friend or family member than would be a bank customer. Twice as likely. They're twice as likely to trust that you're looking out for their financial well-being as would, say, a bank customer. That speaks volumes about what you're doing and the opportunity that we have. But don't take my word for it. I want to show a brief clip. At our recent CUNA Governmental Affairs Conference, Congressman Gary Peters was giving a speech about his support for credit unions, but to this national audience of 4,000 credit union attendees, he talked about Invest in America and what credit unions are doing nationwide that started right here in Michigan to help the auto industry, just by helping to make loans and encourage the purchase of domestic autos. Let's listen to that clip from Gary Peters.
So I certainly went back, and thank goodness the president stepped up and we had the auto rescue and we had some resources for Chrysler, but that wasn't the whole story. Chrysler needed those resources, but what they needed were customers to come in to buy those automobiles. General Motors needed customers to come in to buy those automobiles to be successful. And not only were banks not lending to each other, they weren't lending to consumers who wanted to buy a car. Now, most of the folks I know in my district, you got to take cars are not that cheap. You're not going to go in there and pay cash. You need to have money, you need to have a loan. And unfortunately, too many banks simply were not making those loans. The only loans they were making were to people who didn't need a loan. And the folks in my district needed a loan to buy a car, and we wanted folks to buy a car so we could save this industry and make sure in this country we continue to make something, because you can't be a great country unless you make something. And the reason I bring this story up is because although I have always been a supporter for credit unions, during that moment I knew why I am a passionate supporter for credit unions. Because all of you in this room, folks in Michigan and I know all across the country, you started your program that said, we are lending for automobiles, American automobiles, Chrysler, General Motors. If you come into our credit union, we will give you the loan. You can buy that car. You're going to be able to move this country forward. We stand with American workers. That's why credit unions are important, because you are patriots. When the country needed you to lend, you were there lending. You were helping families, and as a result of that, now we have successful industries that are creating jobs and creating good paying middle class jobs.
So Gary Peters isn't the only one with that message. Our lawmakers are appreciative. Our community leaders understand that Invest in America started right here. And Invest in America is an idea, but in large part it's about what credit unions have always done. We've always been the ones encouraging support for the home team. And in this case, we're supporting our domestic auto industry, and we're helping our credit union members get good discounts and affordable loans on those purchases. So let me continue on. The second part of my message today is that we need cooperation more than ever. Now, we take great pride in the fact that we led the charge here in Michigan in preserving the tax-exempt status. My hat is off to Bill Cheney and CUNA and our sister leagues and the entire credit union movement for the Don't Tax My Credit Union campaign. But Chairman Dave Kemp, Chairman of House Ways and Means Committee, he and members of Ways and Means were the ones that authored the broad-based tax report that came out of committee in February. And you all have worked very hard to make sure that Dave Kemp and Sandy Levin, the ranking member on the committee, understood and continue to understand some of the things that I just covered. And so it's a process, but that was a big victory. Right along with it, we achieved a real victory with the unrelated business income tax rulings from the IRS. Leagues and CUNA Mutual and others funded litigation efforts to make sure that the IRS understood that ATM fees and credit insurance fees and other sources of income are related to our purpose as financial institutions, and they should not be taxed any more than other sources of income should be taxed. So we beat the IRS. We continue to work on reducing the regulatory burden. This risk-based capital proposal is a bad one. We've submitted our letter, you've submitted yours. I submitted an op-ed to the CU Journal suggesting that they scrap this proposal and start over. Start listening to credit unions, start understanding that the NCUSIF reserve level is adequate, our reserves and earnings and our safety and soundness is fine. We need a regulator that can help us take more risk not less. Our CU Link cooperative advertising campaign is moving the needle. This chart you see up here shows that in Michigan, for the first time in the last couple of years, consumers are more likely to say, if I were to open an account, it would be with a credit union than I would open an account with a bank. So we're moving the needle. In fact, let's show a quick clip just to remind you of one of our TV ads from the CU Link campaign.
I was looking at what I was paying the bank on my car loan when it hit me.
It'll hit you, too.
I could do better at a credit union.
Members save hundreds with auto loan rates that average 1% less than banks.
When I saw the ridiculous rate on my credit card, it hit me.
Our credit card rates average over 4% less, too. Maybe it'll hit you as well. The best place to do all your banking is a credit union. Find out more at culinkmichigan.com.
And as you can see from that 70% market share that the big banks have in Michigan, we're not putting banks out of business. They have an important role to play. But cooperative advertising is increasing awareness and helping more people take advantage of what credit unions have to offer. Our social mission programs like Save to Win and our Financial Literacy Challenge and a vocational training program that I'm going to introduce at the end of my remarks. Those are all examples of how we're working together to do great things that go beyond just offering banking services. And I'm proud of the fact that our CU Solutions Group company is providing a financial engine for the league to keep our dues low, but more important, providing great solutions to help credit unions serve, grow, and remain strong. The third theme that I want to touch on is that obviously it's about leadership. And my hat is off to you CEOs and you board members who are setting the strategic direction to move your credit union forward and to work in cooperation with chapters and the league and CUSOs and other cooperative initiatives like our CU Link campaign. But we need individual and cooperative leadership more than ever. And credit unions need to realize that what has a big reason for our success is that we do work together. That's why we have 1,100 people at our convention here this week. The trade associations, CUNA Mutual Group, Co-op Financial Services, Aloya Corporate, our chapters, just to name a few examples of how that cooperation is working. Now, some of the most pressing leadership challenges and opportunities that I believe we face, first of all, we need to retain and/or attract high-caliber leadership and talent in every credit union, regardless of whether you're a small, medium, or large credit union. Because this is a people business, right? It's people helping people. So board members, take care of your CEO, provide the rewards, have a good evaluation process, continue to have high-caliber leadership at the top, and enable him or her to do the same throughout the credit union. This is one of the most critical things that we as leadership need to be doing. We also need to achieve an image of professionalism. In a market where we have so many new disruptive players, we're going to hear from Dan Schulman from American Express later today and hear more about the American Express Bluebird product. But there are many examples. Apple is talking about the fact that they have 800 million iTunes accounts. There's speculation that they may, with their new iPhone, have an NFC chip in it and start to get into some form of a mobile wallet. But when you think of the competition, what we need to do, we need to make sure, regardless of the size, that your offices, your credit union operations, are a place that consumers driving by would say, you know what, I'd like to be a part of that. Whatever it takes, the professionalism, the service quality, the convenience. I talked about the 1,047 branches. And mobile banking. The major theme of our conference is about the mobile revolution and how credit unions have to find ways to keep up and stay current and offer high-quality financial services to our members. And we need to continue to show the credit union difference by offering more than just banking services, right? Our tax-exempt status and the support we have from lawmakers is all about the fact that we're not banks. We're the best place to do your banking because we're not-for-profit consumer cooperatives, and we care and we stick around when economic conditions get tough. We're here for the long haul. And I'm going to give you two examples to wrap up. The first is Money Smart Week. And the league donated $15,000 worth of children and adult money management books And with our credit unions, 3,300 families benefited at library events across the state. And in fact, Governor Snyder read one of these books at a story time in Detroit. I'd like to play that short clip if I could.
We all could probably be better at managing our money. Helping members become financially successful is a huge part of the mission of the credit union industry. That's why the Michigan Credit Union League is lending its support to Money Smart Week, a public awareness campaign dedicated to financial literacy. It's Monday afternoon at the Detroit Public Library Campbell branch. A group of lucky children are being treated to story time, courtesy of Michigan's top leader, Governor Rick Snyder.
One of the things Brother and Sister Bear didn't understand very well was money.
The story on tap is Berenstain Bear's Trouble with Money. The Michigan Credit Union League and affiliates donated over 3,000 copies of the children's money management book to Michigan libraries. It's part of Money Smart Week, a public awareness campaign designed to help consumers better manage their personal finances.
Money Smart Week is a great time to take a step back from the day-to-day and to really focus on developing those skills that are necessary to use your money wisely on a day-to-day basis in order to be a successful consumer. And credit unions are all about helping their members be successful.
Success for members means Michigan credit unions make a year-long commitment to helping members become keen money managers. The focus starts young, with kids like 7-year-old Josue Green. His mom, Elba Gonzalez, says before Josue learned about money from Governor Snyder, he was saving his pennies.
When he gets his allowance, I teach him, put a little bit aside and put it in your bank, so he has his own piggy bank at home and he saves. So sometimes he wants to grab the money, and then I kind of try to teach him that savings.
The savings paid off. Josue put aside enough to contribute to buying his own bike.
He was trying, I bought my own bike, and he was kind of happy.
Josue might be a kid after the governor's heart. He is already following Snyder's top financial tip.
I would say make sure you have a budget.
Okay.
Actually know how much is coming in and how much is going out. And if they don't match, you've got a problem. No, and it's really that simple in a lot of ways.
Simple money solutions courtesy of MCWell, Money Smart Week, and Michigan credit unions committed to member support. To learn more about Money Smart Week, log on to moneysmartweek.org.
So what a great example of how credit unions are working together on an important topic of financial literacy and financial education. We lead the nation in classroom presentations, student-run credit unions, and Money Smart Week and this initiative is yet another example of how we're helping. I want to show one last clip before I bring up the governor, and it has to do with a program that you'll get more information about outside this hall. We call it Career and Technical Training for Skilled Trade Occupations. And this is a program that we learned about thanks to the governor and Congressman Dan Benishek. And I'm going to show this video that kind of encapsulates what it is we're sharing with parents and kids about the availability of great jobs that don't require 4-year degrees. Let's show that clip.
Hi, I'm Beth Troost, Financial Education Manager with the Michigan Credit Union League. And today I'd like to tell you about an exciting new project we've put together to help spread the word about career opportunities in our state and how you can get involved. It's no secret, our state has changed in many ways over the past several decades. And while Michigan is making an economic comeback, the kinds of jobs and opportunities available today are not the same as in years past. In the new Michigan, many skilled trade occupations are in high demand, and that's a trend that's expected to continue. But moving forward, we could face a shortage of qualified workers to fill those jobs. And that's a concern at every level of our state.
If our employers can't find the people they need, they're going to move to somewhere where they can. That's why it's important that we improve our technical education process here in the state of Michigan.
If we don't get this information out and let people know what those opportunities are, there's going to be a lot of things that are missed, but we also are going to have a lot of gaps in the availability of the skills that we need now and into the future within those industries.
That's why we've set out to help connect today's students, our state's future, with the many career opportunities available that don't require the time or financial investment of a 4-year college degree. With the help of experts from around the state, we've put together an easy-to-use guide for students, parents, teachers, and advisors. We've also created a series of ready-to-use lesson plans to help teens explore skilled trade occupations. Now, we're calling on you, our credit unions, and our partners to help spread the word.
Michigan's credit unions do so many great things for their members in the area of financial services. We believe this is an opportunity for credit unions to help their communities and to help their members by increasing awareness of these opportunities for young people especially.
Hey, this is going to require a full court press, okay? It requires people from the government, people from the state level, at the federal level. It requires employers. The Credit Union League has been helpful because they are helping spreading the word.
The guide covers different clusters of skilled trade jobs identified by the State Workforce Development Agency as high-demand jobs for the future: manufacturing, healthcare, agriculture, energy, and information technology. Within each cluster, you'll find detailed information about job profiles, training, and salaries. Now, while these careers don't require a college degree, they do require significant skills and training beyond high school and can offer stable career choices with a solid wage.
2- and 4-year degrees are great, but they're not for everybody. So what we want to be able to do is show that there are opportunities for more of an earn and learn type of situation. So apprenticeships, certificates, licensing, and different things that you can do.
Young people who are thinking about a college career may not always be best suited for an economics degree or a business degree or a nursing degree. They may find more enjoyment in technical type jobs that are currently in demand, for which they can get training more cost effectively and more quickly.
We have a real opportunity here to redefine who we are as a state, to keep our talented young minds in Michigan, and to chart a course for our state's future. Please take some time to access the guide and the lesson plans found on our website and share them with your younger members, with their parents, with local schools, and with businesses. Share the materials in person, through your website, your newsletter, and your social media accounts. Together, we can help make a better Michigan. Thank you.
So this is a great example of what we can do together to celebrate, cooperate, and continue leading in ways that go beyond traditional banking services. So I challenge each and every one of you here to get information about this program and help us spread the word about the availability of these jobs. Help us be a part of moving Michigan forward by getting skilled people to fill these jobs and show how we go much further than banking services in helping our members and our communities in the state of Michigan. So thank you very much for your attention this morning. I appreciate the opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. Thank you very much.